welcome to Two Men in the Shed. I'm Justin.
And I'm Dan. I didn't realise you were starting straight away.
Well, I did. So,
I was going to say something.
what do you want to say?
It's
You
not
can say it.
relevant.
You can say it to everyone.
No, it's not relevant now.
Okay. I think today we're going to talk about a few conspiracy theories. I know that's something you like to talk about, and I thought I'll give you a shot.
Is it?
Yeah, you wanted to do a whole podcast on it, but then you never looked at anything.
Yeah, I did. I just deemed it wasn't. They've been most of the conspiracy theories have been done to death, and so I thought it's probably not viable.
Well, this is true, but I mean, we're not creating conspiracy theories. We're just talking about how stupid people are for believing them. Really?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
What, you want to start on flat Earth?
No, we'll do that in a minute.
Well, that's the stupidity one. The first one I've actually got is something I was thinking about. Every time I see old Joe Biden, US president,
Yeah.
I can't help but think he's trying to start a civil war in the US. I don't see it ending any other way. If he gets what he wants every time, I would say he's trying to start a civil war or trying to start riots, civil unrest. Everything he does seems to be to antagonise people. So the latest one is he wants to bring a bill into place to put it into law in the US that you're allowed to transition children's sexes. In other words, chopping kids up to change their sex. Because he doesn't want Florida outlawing it, banning it. He's basically saying that by outlawing transitioning kids, it's the same as like anti-gay rights.
Yeah, which I understand. I understand why. Doesn't mean I'm for it. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. I was going to get worried then. I was about to kick you off the show.
Then in that case,
you don't get out of it that easy, fat boy.
Damn it. No, it's well, yeah, I mean, like, it's like anything, isn't it? Like
I wouldn't say like anything.
No, I mean, like the trans community and all them, they kick off if they're not included, blah blah blah. The black community, various other things. So this is just another part of all of that, I think. Whether it's right or wrong, there's a different debate.
I don't think it is. If you look at a lot of the gay lesbian community, they're trying to distance themselves from the trans community in a lot of cases. Now, trans rights is more along the lines of extreme feminism as opposed to lesbian and gay rights. And I'll tell you why. Lesbian and gays aren't saying I'm not this gender. They're not trying to change the genders. They're just saying I'm attracted to the same gender.
Yeah.
Now, extreme feminism is basically saying women are equal to men, which they're not. They're biologically different. So I would see trans along those same lines as they're trying to say that you can be anything you want, yet you can't because there are biological differences. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. But yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't have anything really to say on this. Too much.
I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what it seems like to me. It's more of a. It's not feminism, but I would say I would put it in the same group as feminism, not as lesbian and gay. Anyway, we're off topic again. Already.
Okay.
We've only just started.
I know, yeah.
Anyway, that was my theory about Joe Biden, or Joe Biden and the people behind him. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's just a puppet. I say he can't put a sentence together.
And all politicians, though. And all politicians. Or presidents.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you might find that Trump wasn't anybody's puppet.
Yeah, he was.
He was his own puppet.
The problem is you get with presidents, with MPs in the UK, they all make promises to get themselves elected and then don't deliver. They all make promises whilst they're elected and then don't deliver.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
And they have their own agendas. So
I don't think it's a case of they don't want to deliver what they promised. A lot of times it is you can't get it through.
Yeah.
You can't get the bills passed. I say the bills in the UK, what do we call them here? The laws.
policies.
Policy isn't a law, though, is it? It's a policy.
Yeah.
But they can't get them through.
Well, this is it. Don't make promises. I mean, like, to be honest, they know. I mean, they're as close to that kind of area as anyone. So they should know what they can and potentially can't put through. So don't make promises.
Well, no, because it depends how many seats they get.
But even then,
if you've got like a whole party, party policy is we have, I don't know, let's take the NHS pay.
Mm.
If you have a party saying we're going to increase the NHS staff's pay, yeah, and you vote the vast majority of that party in, they'll have the number of seats to pass any bill they want. The problem is the seats are split, so no one can get a bill through. It's a bit like I was talking about last time with the with power. There is a party against every form of power generation in this country. So you've got the Green Party who are against solar power.
Mm.
You'd think they'd be the ones for it, but they're the ones that are against solar power.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, because it's taken up the natural beauty of the countryside. Then you've got other parties that are against nuclear, other parties that are against hydroelectric, other parties that are against wind power. So that whoever's trying to do something, there's always a majority of the other parties. It doesn't matter who puts a bill forward, they all get outvoted by the other parties.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing happens. And this is the problem with the system we've got now. You can't do anything. Right or wrong, every time someone tries to put something forward, everyone else shoots it down.
Yeah, well, this is the world we live in. This is why nothing gets done very quickly.
It's a stupid system.
Yeah. And this is why we can't adapt to the changing planet, let's say.
What's changed about the planet?
No, the changing planet. Not very quickly. So you got climate change, right?
Yep.
Plenty of people have ideas. Plenty of people have this, that, but it's never put in place quick enough because of the opposition, let's say, because of the legislation that's in place, or because of whatever it might be.
Well, it's not just that.
It's just too slow.
You can't reach agreement on things.
Yeah.
And to be honest, with regards to climate change, it doesn't really matter what we do in this country, in the UK. We're such a small country.
Yeah.
China already puts out whatever 20,000 times as much
and they're
CO2 as us, and they're increasing it. We could change ours, and it will make a 0.01% impact on the planet, on the amount of carbon generated.
It's the same as supermarkets telling us that we should, what was it? Eat.
I don't know.
Eat better? No, was it? I don't know. Supermarkets basically saying that we're the ones causing plastic wastage in the sea and stuff, and that's actually them. But it's made to look like us, that sort of thing. Doesn't matter if we put one piece of plastic in the bin or in the recycling. Doesn't make a difference. It's them.
I don't know what you're talking about. Supermarkets are blaming consumers.
Yes.
For the plastic in the sea.
No. So it's where like with the plastic bag things as well. The onus was put on the public because they were the ones that were. They basically made out that they were the ones that were contributing all the plastic waste. But the plastic waste is actually a majority of businesses and supermarkets and things like this. The biggest consumers of it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, they're the producers of it as well.
Yeah.
How is it on the consumer to ensure that we're using recycled packaging and stuff like that?
Yeah.
The only way you can do that is to not buy anything that's not in it, and then you're not buying anything.
Yeah.
Because no one will put it in it.
Yeah. And we're as a public, we only buy stuff from them anyway. So how can it be our fault for putting plastic and things in the sea when?
Because you didn't have to buy it.
Clearly, yes.
And it's like carrier bags. You could buy bags for life. Although those bags for life don't last very long.
No, they don't. It's just such a ridiculous name. False advertising.
But in saying that, we use some of the bags we use. We have the same bags we use every time we go to the supermarket. They're also 5 times more heavy duty, I'd say, than a normal carrier bag. And so there's more plastic waste there when it finally does break.
Yeah.
So I would say as long as it does more than 5 trips to the supermarket, they're worth it. But otherwise, not really.
And not only that, they charge now money for plastic bags than they did before. So all that's happening really is supermarkets are profiteering off of the fact we have to carry stuff.
I don't mind them charging for plastic bags.
I do. It's ridiculous now.
Because you don't take any bags with you when you go shopping. I'm willing to bet.
I
I'm willing
do
to bet you buy cheap disposable ones every time.
I buy some bags and I'll take the rest of them with me. But the problem is, if you're out, let's say at work, and you go straight after work, just on a kind of like most people do on a kind of spur of the moment decision, you're not gonna have bags with you.
Yeah, they're in the boot of the car.
No, mine aren't.
They live in the boot of the car.
No, mine aren't, because what happens is I'll have some bags, I'll use them, I'll take them home, then the next time, none in the car.
That's just being lazy and not taking them back out to the car.
Well, usually because they're ripped by then, because I've carried stuff in them.
Well, then you're getting the cheap ones. Anyway, moving on. We're talking about. I was talking about Joe Biden, and we want to carrier bags.
This is the tangents we provide.
Anyway, let's move on from Joe Biden before I say something I shouldn't say about him.
I thought that was the whole reason for this podcast.
What, to say stuff you shouldn't say?
No, to say your beliefs.
Well, yeah, there's only so far you want to push it. Do you want me to just go there? So I'll just go there.
Tell you what, why didn't you do a special episode with just you?
Just me whinging about Biden.
Yeah.
Even though I have no horse in that race. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not in America. Yeah, I just can't stand him. And I don't know how American people live with him as their president.
Well,
he's yeah. Okay, moving on. Flat Earth, fat boy.
It's not as if they can do much about it.
Flat Earth. So you believe the Earth is flat. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, just.
Are you agreeing? You believe the Earth is flat?
Yeah. I mean, the sun is just above us. We revolve around the sun. What else is there?
No, that's not a part of the flat Earth, is it?
Is it?
No, you don't revolve around anything. You're part of the flat Earth.
Okay. Well, that's another spit. Well, no, that was with belief. What, 1,000 years ago was it? Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know the ins and outs of that. But I don't understand how you can believe the Earth is flat. Seriously. The fact we've seen it from space, the fact we've got photos of it, the fact that all the other planets are round, but just us is flat.
Yeah, and this is. I can't understand it at all either. And I don't know much about the flat Earth conspiracy. Conspiracy? That's what they call it. I guess they call it conspiracy because they're always saying that the space pictures are faked.
Yeah. That was the famous moon landing one as well. So that was not part of the flat Earth, but
no, yeah,
it's part of that same thing. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're talking about the Earth's being flat.
Yeah.
You can fall off the edge. If you go past the edge, you fall, and therefore everything that they've done with regards to space is faked.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can believe it, but then there's a lot of idiots out there, and that's right. If you believe in flat Earth, I am calling you an idiot. I'm not taking that back.
There you go. See, like things like that.
Well, an idiot means you've got low intelligence.
Yes.
And if you believe in the flat Earth, you clearly got low intelligence.
Well, no, because there's
or you're brainwashed.
No, there's people that have.
Or you've been hypnotized.
Well, okay, but there's people that have like degrees and super smart that still believe flat Earth. It's not necessarily intelligence.
No, right. First off, a degree does not mean you're super smart.
No, I know, but
a degree, I would say, modern day degree is nearly meaningless.
I separated the two, but yes.
And I don't believe there's anyone that's super smart that believes in flat Earth. Because if they believe in flat Earth, they're not super smart.
You could still be convinced.
Well, you could be willfully ignorant. You can't.
You could be convinced.
You can't. If you can be convinced that the Earth is flat, you are not super smart, because it means you can't do any research. You can't look into things. You can't think critically. How on earth could somebody convince you the Earth is flat? How would someone go about convincing you the Earth is flat, Dan?
Walk me to the edge of it.
Do you consider yourself smart?
Mediocre.
Mediocre, okay.
No, it's...
So you're a mediocre person, therefore it should be much easier to convince you the Earth is flat.
Sure.
So what would it take to convince you?
Show me the edge.
Well, they've showed photos of the Earth being flat. Clearly doctored photos.
Yeah.
But...
Show me the edge. Walk me to the edge. Photos won't do it.
No, but you can't have that to convince you because you can't walk to the edge because there is no edge. So
that's my point. That's what it takes to convince me.
Well, so then it should take a more intelligent person more than that to convince them.
Yes, potentially, but intelligence and common sense, two different parts of the human psyche, so to speak.
Yes, I would agree.
Right.
But no.
Generally, people that are really intelligent have less common sense than sort of standard individuals.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
I do.
That's because you're not really intelligent. You called yourself mediocre, not me.
Sure, yeah. I'm not intelligent, not super intelligent, no.
No, but intelligent enough to not be fooled into thinking the Earth is flat.
Well, to be fair, yes. I mean, it sounds stupid. That's why I don't believe it. And I've seen, photos, videos. You can see the horizon is curved. All of that sort of stuff. There's overwhelming evidence there as to why the Earth isn't flat.
That's exactly it. There's overwhelming evidence that it's not flat.
Yeah.
So if you have any intelligence, then you should be believing that the Earth is not flat.
But then you've got these...
Unless you're really intelligent, but you've been locked in a basement your entire life and have never seen technology or anything else, and someone's just said to you, the Earth is flat.
No, even then, you'd still be like, what?
No, I don't think you would. Well, if you'd known nothing else other than a basement that's got no tech in it,
no, because...
and you're taught about the Earth and you're taught that it's flat, then I can understand how you'd think it was flat.
Yeah, but that's the same as a child.
Exactly.
Children get taught the Earth is round, therefore they believe it's round. So if you change that and teach them it's flat from a child, from when they're young, and they'll believe it's flat.
Someone will very quickly correct them.
Yes, but they still believe it's flat.
No, but they won't. Someone will very quickly correct them, and then they can look it up. You can tell children lots of things. They're going to find out the truth a lot most things sooner or later.
Yeah, probably.
You could tell them, we're super rich when you're poor as anything, and they'll be thinking they're rich because they can afford food. There's a lot of people in the world that can't afford food.
Yeah, but children
they'll learn very soon.
Yes, but children
that they're not
children
rich.
can't do that research. Not until they're older.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They learn.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
So,
but we're talking about all these adults that are running around, in spite of all of the evidence that the Earth is not flat.
What happens to them is they go down a rabbit hole. They basically watch conspiracy videos and read stuff, and they get down a rabbit hole where they start believing this stuff because there's more and more information and more evidence of it.
Because they're not smart enough to see the truth.
It's more like watching...
They don't want to see the truth.
Potentially, yes. There's probably one reason. But it's more like watching overwhelming amounts of evidence or videos or whatever it is, and then going, well, if there's this much evidence, it must be true.
No.
Yeah.
Because for every piece of evidence that the Earth is flat, there's a million pieces of evidence showing that it's not.
Yeah, probably. But
so they're not capable of critical thinking.
It's the same as
of doing research.
It's the same as photos and quotes you see on Facebook, on social media, where they put a quote
like a haggis.
Exactly, but they'll put a quote and a picture of a celebrity or someone that basically they said this quote. Now, most people will just kind of flick past it and be like, okay, whatever. But if you start seeing that more and more, you're not really going to be able to verify that too much.
Well, this is it. So
people will do it. People will believe it.
This is it. So if I see a quote from a celebrity, I'm inclined to believe that they said it.
Yeah.
Okay? Unless it's something that doesn't make any sense for that celebrity to say.
Okay.
Then I might do some research to look at it if I cared enough. But if you had most of the planet saying to you, they did not say that, here's the evidence that they didn't say it,
yeah.
Are you going to change your mind on it? Or are you going to go, no, I'm really smart, I'm going to just stick to it, they said it. Doesn't matter that everyone's telling me that that they didn't say it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter they've shown me proof that they didn't say it.
That's sort of thinking that you do, though.
It's not?
Yeah, it is.
How is it?
No, as in you don't believe the Earth's flat. What I mean is, if you think you're right, you will argue the point, even if it's wrong.
Unless if you provide me with evidence that I'm wrong, then I'll admit I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's what these people are doing.
Well, they're not. They've had the evidence that they're wrong, and they refuse to believe it.
It's because they're not. It's like It's like when you... Okay, so take religion, right?
Yep. No one's given me any proof.
Right? So why is it that everyone that is deep in religion won't take the facts that there is no God and all this sort of stuff that we commonly sort of tell them? Why do they not accept that as fact?
I can tell you exactly why. And it's completely different to the flat earth thing.
Why is that?
Flat earth is a provable thing.
It is, yes.
Religion is faith. The whole principle of faith is you believe blindly.
Right.
That's what faith is.
Yeah.
Believing in something without evidence.
Yeah.
So you're taught you need to have faith. So there is no evidence one way or the other because you can't prove a negative.
True.
So you can't have evidence that God doesn't exist when he doesn't exist. You can't prove he doesn't exist.
Yes,
so
but
the onus should be on proving he does exist.
yeah, but
Taking
we
this
can't do that
back to
either.
the pink fluffy squirrel on your shoulder, if you believe it's there and I can't see it, then you would need to prove to me that it is there. It's not, the onus wouldn't be on me or the rest of the world
Yeah.
to then prove that it doesn't, because you're the one that needs to prove that it does exist, because you're making an assertion about something that everyone can see is not right. So therefore, the onus is on you to prove it exists. Now, no one can prove the existence of a God. There's people out there that say they can. No, they can't. A lot of them will speak fancy words at you, will try and twist the way you think about things until you believe it. I've had Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door, and they start saying to me things like, "Oh, the trees, you think that just happened by accident? Clearly, it was a God that made those trees. He made this beauty." And I'm like, seriously? That's your argument? Just go away. Sometimes I do like discussions with Jehovah's Witnesses. I do like a good argument, yeah. Sometimes I'm not in the mood. I just say, no.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to get a T-shirt that says, I worship Satan. And then when they come to the door, I can just put a T-shirt on that says, I worship Satan. I don't worship Satan.
Do you believe in him?
No.
Okay. So I guess it's probably along the same lines of thinking. The faith argument with religion and flat earth.
Mm.
Those sorts of people, they just kind of believe what they read or what they're told or what they're taught.
No, because maybe initially, but people can research things themselves. And I say the whole principle about religion.
Yes, but then
it's not provable.
But then the problem there is
you're trying to say you can take flat Earth on faith alone, but you can't, because there is clear evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
Now there is no evidence proving that a God doesn't exist.
Yes, but why do the flat Earth people believe in flat Earth still, despite the fact there's no evidence for it?
Because they're idiots.
That's not a reason.
I can't think of any reason why someone would believe in that unless that's what they've been taught and they haven't had access to factual information.
There's loads of people that have factual access to information.
I know, and that's why I'm saying.
Still believe flat Earth.
And that's why I'm saying they're idiots.
The problem there is the ability for them to let go of the belief. That the Earth is flat. No, it's along the same
idiots.
thing. No, it isn't.
Well, it is. They're idiots. Or delusional, or whatever. There's a problem there.
Mm.
Well, there is, clearly.
I mean, we had a similar story last week.
Did we?
With the Haggis story.
Well, no, because...
And actually, Charlotte changed her belief afterwards. But,
yeah, and she was given the proof.
But she was still led down the path to believe it was real in the first place.
Yes. But when you see the proof, you realise you're mistaken. And this is what I'm saying.
But some people some people have difficulty in letting go or admitting they're wrong, and therefore they will not. That's the problem.
Well, no, this is it. If there's difficulty in admitting they're wrong, they still know they're wrong, and they don't actually believe it anymore. That's something different to actually believing the Earth is flat. You may be saying to people, "I believe the Earth is flat," but they wouldn't.
You can't really prove it otherwise. That's the problem.
I don't need to, because they're just idiots. Because if it's that I refuse to admit it to anyone, to me that makes you an idiot.
Okay.
Why on earth would you double down on something you know is wrong? That's just idiotic behaviour. It just makes you look even stupider.
Yeah, potentially.
There you go.
Next one.
Flat Earth. Done. Death for Hitler.
Yeah.
So there was a guy. I'll tell you the synopsis first. So Hitler supposedly died in 1938. Common mainstream knowledge has it as 1945. I think it was April 1945 he died. But he used to have body doubles that you'd use where you shove them out the door before you. So if someone's going to take a shot at you, they shoot your body double. Now he had at least 3 body doubles. And one of them came forwards later on, wrote a book, I don't know when, but much later, saying that Hitler himself actually died in 1938 from poisoning. And they carried on using the body doubles. The Nazi party used these body doubles as Hitler so that they could maintain power and carry on with their agenda.
Makes sense. But I did read or see something somewhere that said he did poison himself. I can't remember what year it was.
What, in 1938?
I can't remember what year it was, but yeah, I don't know anything about the body double though. But yeah.
Well, 1938, it's 7 years before he supposedly died. Yeah. So it's a strange one. Then I've also saw conspiracy theories that he's still alive. And there is, if you look at, there's some declassified US documents now that show they were still looking for him 2 years after. In 1947, they were still actively looking for him. CIA were looking for Hitler in 1947, and they were paying people for information on about his whereabouts.
Or his body double.
Or a body double, yeah. Or maybe this is why it could have been a body double that died in 1945.
Yeah.
And that may be why they believed he was still alive.
Yeah.
Or he might have died in 1938 and it was a body double that died in 1945.
Yeah.
So they're looking for someone that died a long time before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So any comments on that? Well, that's the theory.
No, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't really know. But
yeah, and I think that's one you're not really going to be able to ever prove. Unless you can find his body. I don't know what happened to his body.
I have no idea.
They burn it.
I mean, probably.
They bury it. Exhume his body. There must be some DNA around somewhere. But then you wouldn't know if it was his body double that you got the DNA from, would you? Okay. Moving on then.
Before we move on.
What
I was going to say earlier. I really need to go to the toilet.
And we're back.
You can use that in the next one. Yeah. What were we talking about? Ancient Apocalypse.
I don't know, but the lighting's changed on the video now. Let's get back. There we go. Okay. Next was Ancient Apocalypse.
Okay.
So there is a series on Netflix, I believe. I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I will watch the rest of it. It's by a man named Graham Hancock, and he believes that there was an advanced ancient civilization. Sort of Ice Age period, up to like 10,000 BC-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
Who were wiped out by some sort of cataclysm. But the survivors from that cataclysm taught the rest of the world about agriculture and building and things like that.
This sounds like the plot to Stargate.
Yeah, but it's all on our planet.
Yeah, well, technically it wasn't ours as well, but yeah.
Even though they shouldn't have been able to travel around to these different continents, there was no way between continents.
No, and also the Earth looked a lot different back then as well.
Yeah, but we know how long it took for the continents to separate and things like that. So we know that the continent, there was no passable lands, and they shouldn't have been sailing that far at this point in time. Now, the reason for this is the similarities between structures found around the world. Pyramids, for example. There's different pyramid structures around the world. They have a lot of similarities in them, not just in in the fact that they're pyramid shaped, but a lot of the stairways that go up them and carvings that are on them and things like that. In particular, there's also things like dragons, for example. They're seen all over the world, and those carvings predate the times when supposedly people could travel between continents. And there's a lot of similarities in those carvings. So either dragons were real,
right,
and people knew what they looked like, and therefore even got these carvings that the same, or these carvings travelled, or people doing the carvings travelled. People told the tales about these dragons, these flying lizards travelled.
it's probably both.
Well, they were real and people travelled.
More like people travelled, but it was more like a creature or an animal that they believed looked like a certain thing. They could never see it up close, but you know how it's like. They draw gods and things like this, and they draw mythical animals.
It's not just that. I say there's lots of very similar things within the architecture as well, and the building techniques. The same building techniques were seen around the world.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a clear difference in some of the locations. Like you'll see the building techniques, or these are crude ones, and all of a sudden, like overnight, within 100-year Spanish, there's these advanced buildings using completely different building techniques. So there's this thing about, and if you go a bit further than that, right, let's talk about the Sphinx in Egypt.
Mm.
So you've got the pyramids and the Sphinx. Now, I believe to have been built around the same time-ish. Yeah?
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know, 2500 BC, something like that. Now, there's some erosion on the Sphinx towards the bottom, which has clear indications of its water erosion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been no real water flow there since 10,000 BC.
Right.
So it looks like the Sphinx could have been there from 10,000 BC, which means it predates the pyramids by 7,000 or 8,000 years.
Have they not carbon dated it yet?
You can't carbon date sandstone or whatever it is.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case,
you can't carbon date stuff that isn't
made of carbon.
Yeah.
Fine, fair enough. But so there's two theories then to that. Is either it's the Sphinx is there longer than the pyramids, or it was an area before that had water and it was moved.
The Sphinx wasn't moved. The Sphinx is, I think, it's carved into the bedrock. Or the other theory is it was something else before the Sphinx. They're saying that the Sphinx's head is the wrong size for its body as well. So I think there's these other theories that the head was been recarved, and it wasn't initially what it is now.
Makes sense.
And it is a separate piece to the rest of it. So this is why the head's falling off. I don't know if you know the head's falling off the Sphinx.
No.
Yeah, when I was in Egypt, what was that, 15 years ago, there was all scaffolding up it and they were repairing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, its head was falling off. But the head's too small for the body for that Sphinx. So they think it's a recarve of it.
The question is then, what was it before?
Yeah, and how long had it been there before they recarved the head?
Yeah.
So, and so you've got this theory, I say, with these ancient, when I say advanced, I don't mean advanced like we are today.
No,
I mean advanced
building
techniques, and they had agriculture and stuff like that, farming and all of this sort of stuff back in the sort of Ice Age, end of the Ice Age period.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and it's something that I actually think there's quite a lot of evidence to support.
They probably were more like further along technological scale than we think they were, because we are only looking back at pieces and kind of, if you like, putting together one of the most complex puzzles. We're never going to know all the pieces, all the kind of, we're not going to know accurate information. Well, 100% accurate information. So
yeah, and the other thing that I get is me as well. Now, maybe there was or wasn't this advanced civilization that old, but to me, if they were building boats,
yeah, rafts.
Rafts, whatever. Now, is there a chance that someone could have survived a crossing purely by accident?
It depends on where. The challenge.
Everywhere, all around the world. So
some of the smaller islands and smaller kind of transitioning between mainland and smaller islands.
Well, we're talking hundreds of miles, thousands of miles.
Probably not, unless they're in a proper boat. Even then, that was treacherous, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you'd be land hopping one to another. I would say, not a case of like, we're going to go to here or we're going to go to there. A case of exploration. But then maybe they did have more advanced ships. 10,000 years ago, they wouldn't have survived.
No.
You're not going to find anything of a ship.
No.
From 10,000 years ago. So who knows? Maybe they did. And also, there's these carvings of the people showing people arriving and spreading knowledge.
Yes, but these
at each around the world as well.
But these, do they look like people? Or do they look
like... they look like people. They're generally drawn larger.
Interesting.
So sort of like. Not quite giants, but larger than normal people.
Yeah. I think something I've seen about this before, but I don't believe there was another race. I mean, I kind of believe, and this again is a belief, you can't prove this, but we haven't found evidence to the contrary, that we are obviously the only form of sentient life in possibly the universe, and we will get to a point where we start to colonize other planets potentially, and we will become that race, that first race of, the advanced civilization that dies out. I think.
What, and then another race comes along after us?
Well, where we've seeded other life on other planets, they all sort of forget where they come from and become these kind of their own civilizations and discover.
Yeah, especially if there's disasters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're saying that there's a lot of stuff now which is built. It would take a long time for modern society to disappear, modern technology to disappear.
I think there was estimates of only sort of 1,000 years or so, not long.
Yeah, you say 1,000 years isn't long. It's quite long. So we're talking, at 10,000 BC to 2,500 BC.
Yeah.
There's only 7,500 years in there. And now you bear in mind when we say advanced technology, is agriculture and building.
Mm-hmm.
How long are those buildings going to last? 10,000 years?
I guess, yeah.
And what would it look like if they did last this long?
Overgrown.
Maybe like the bottom of the Sphinx, which is all eroded away.
Well, no, because we have more abundant. What's it called? Robust materials, and alloys and things that are sort of, let's say, better at weathering than others.
But you got to think but they're buried. They were buried under sand for.
But we have skyscrapers like
hundreds
of meters in the air. For that to be covered in sand,
but it won't be covered in sand. It will fall down.
Will it?
Yes. There is no skyscraper that's still going to be standing in 10,000 years.
I think there would be.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Well,
wind erosion on its own will take them down.
Really? Metals?
10,000 years.
Metal?
Yeah.
Alloys? Like strong...
Well, they're not all made of complete metal, are they?
No, I know. Concrete and...
They're too heavy if they were pure metal.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's... They wouldn't be there in 10,000 years.
Well, then we need to be building stuff that is going to be there in 10,000 years.
Okay, so that was that theory.
Yeah. But yeah, I genuinely believe that we are the first civilization.
Well, it's not a different civilization. It will still be man. That's what we're talking about.
Yes,
it was still man, but they were just more advanced than the. And then there was a cataclysm, and it's basically we started over again. Except a few of these survivors travelled around and reintroduced their advanced technology, which I say was agriculture and building methods.
I mean, you could argue yes, but then at the same time, this is over 10,000 years, 10 millennia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what we've achieved in the last 500 years.
look at what we've achieved in the last 10,000 years.
No, I'm sort of using it as a comparison.
Let's say it was a civilization that was around for 500 years.
Yeah.
They developed agriculture and building techniques.
Yes, but we went into space in the space of like 70 years.
No, we didn't. We weren't in the Stone Age 70 years ago.
No, but we were in. We had horse and cart. 120 years ago?
Yeah, but
and then 60 years later, we were in space.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Does it?
Yeah, because we've started engineering stuff, making moving parts, started looking at chemistry. It takes longer to go between the time between ages tends to speed up. So there's less time between different ages.
Yes.
If you start in the Stone Age, it takes quite a long time to get to the Bronze Age. And from the Bronze Age to Steel Age, not so much. But then when you get to the technological,
I think it's more about techniques. Once you discover how to extract metals,
yeah, you can go through the Metal Ages.
Then
pretty quick.
Yeah, you can start.
But Stone Age to Metal Age, that was fucking a long time.
Yeah, it was. It was like 6,000.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of things hinge on a discovery.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, you look at all the discoveries throughout history. Majority of the important ones seem to be accidental, which I find insane. Because, to me, if that's the case, let's say there was another civilization somewhere else in the galaxy, right?
Yep.
We happen to travel to them. They will not be. If we all discover these things by accident, they will not be at the same level of technology if they had the same amount of time.
Why not?
They'd be somewhere different.
They could be much more advanced than us if they had more happy accidents.
Yeah, but the fact that it happened by accident.
Yeah, but when we say it happened by accident, they were trying to do stuff. They were trying to do things.
Yeah.
And they've discovered something in that journey.
Yeah.
So it's not like someone tripped over and magically discovered how to smelt copper.
No. Okay, so it's manufacturing processes, yes. But people that discovered, like, I think, was it radon that was discovered accidentally? Radioactive materials?
Yeah, radon's just a gas.
No, it was like radon gas, yeah. And X-rays were discovered accidentally.
Yeah, but they were messing with radioactive materials.
Yeah, but still.
So anyone that's messing with radioactive materials could well stumble upon that discovery if they lived long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah.
Pandora's box.
It is.
I saw something on Pandora's box.
Did you?
And I can't remember, it's very vague in my memory, but it's supposedly held in a monastery somewhere. And anyone that spends too much time around it sickens and dies. And I remember thinking to myself, that sounds like it's just got radioactive materials inside it. But if you think back to when Pandora's box is supposedly been around, we're going really, really far back.
Yeah.
And they had picked up, so I don't know, some uranium or whatever like that.
Yeah.
It would then essentially be death to anyone that spent any time with it. So it made me think, well, they don't actually say it's radiation or anything. They just say people sick and die when they go near this supposedly Pandora's box. And I think to myself, well, yeah, that makes sense. If someone discovered a lump of uranium back then, well, they're done with it. Stick it in a steel in a
wooden box,
steel box, not steel,
lead line box.
No, rock carved box.
Rock, okay, yeah.
Because we know that certainly concrete's quite effective at stopping radiation. I should imagine solid granite is also quite effective.
Depends how thick and what type of radiation that's.
Yeah. But the fact if you spend time around it, you're still getting exposed. It means you're getting through it. But it would certainly reduce a lot of exposure to uranium of a granite box.
Yeah.
So Pandora's box becomes a mythical, magical object. It kills people that look inside.
Yeah. But they wouldn't have obviously
you open it up, get a fatal dose of radiation.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have known what was in it, what it was, or anything like that. Yeah.
Magic rock.
Yeah. It doesn't glow, that's the other thing. If it's uranium, I mean, uranium's probably the heaviest material, radioactive material that occurs naturally.
I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm not saying it was glowing. I didn't say it glowed, but it'd be a magic rock. Those who look upon it die.
Yeah.
There you go. And I think a lot of them maybe, you see these other. I've seen some other stories about instant death and curses and things like that, and you think to yourself, well, it's likely just radiation.
Yeah, they can be.
These places you go, if you go there, you will die. It's cursed. Yeah, because there's a load of bloody uranium in the walls of that cave.
We have the means now to understand and explain it. That's what it is. Yeah,
it's not magic.
No,
it's radiation.
But this is what I mean. Like, we're at a level of civilization where I think that magic is definitely like an alternate theory, not theory, but an alternate like fantasy thing where we know it's not real, and we're also at the level where if there is something that's sufficiently advanced, we wouldn't automatically jump to it's magic. We would just be like, okay, well, we just don't understand what it is or how it works.
Yeah, so I was thinking the same sort of thing. Now, if you imagine someone that can open a hand up and chuck fireballs, that's magic. Yeah,
technically, yes.
We could do that now.
Yeah, I know.
We could do that. You can make little gadgets and gizmos.
Yes.
To enable you to literally chuck fireballs from your hand.
Yeah. But if you saw that, you wouldn't be like, oh my god, that's magic. Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, that's cool. How'd they do that?
I don't know how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. But that would be magic.
Yeah, that'd be the literal definition of it.
Yeah.
To someone that lacks the understanding of modern day physics and how things work.
Yep. So the same could be true for any really advanced technology. To us,
would it though?
Could seem like magic,
but we wouldn't. We still would have the common sense, I guess, and understanding to say it's not magic because that doesn't exist. But we just don't know how it works.
Okay, let's say one day I can just sort of telekinetic bring stuff to my hand, just bring it over to my hand, look at something go across the room and just stick my hand out, flies into my hand.
Yeah.
You've got no way of, you're looking for technology, you can't find any technology, anything like that.
Yeah, okay.
Is it magic?
No.
What is it then?
Something that I don't understand how it works yet. I just need to work out what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could just be as simple as, I don't know, a little implant in your mind that allows you to, allows your body to convert energy in some way, or who knows.
Could be
anything, or just training of the, natural evolution. Training of, and your mind's evolved, your body's evolved, and you can create, I don't know, some kind of field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But it'd be magic.
No.
Magic. Well, that's what magic is. What else is magic?
Magic is...
So even if magic existed, there would be some scientific reason behind it you could discover.
Yes.
Yeah? So, therefore... magic is real. It's just science.
Yeah, okay. I see where that's coming from.
You've got a lot of stuff you can do with magnets.
Yes.
I mean, magic. A floating orb just sat there on your desk, floating.
Yeah.
You can go and buy them from the shop for £10.
This is what I mean. Someone who lacks the kind of understanding and evolution, brain evolution, would say that's magic because they don't understand otherwise. However, to me and you, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I could tell you how it works, but let's say my children, right? They wouldn't be able to tell you how it works, but they wouldn't go, "That's magic." They'd just be like,
"That's because it's normal."
What's going on
for our day and age?
Yeah.
But if they saw someone like Iceman, turns himself into a sheet of ice and then starts throwing ice around out of his hands, that would be magic, wouldn't it?
No, they'd still be like, I don't understand how he's doing it.
Your natural thought
on?
It would be a illusionary, sort of thing, as it's it's
or,
not real. They've done something really cool with some cameras and some mirrors or whatever. Yeah,
it's like the the bottle trick where you freeze it. Well, you don't freeze it. You put it in a cold freezer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I guess you mix the water with salt, and then when you take it out and shake it, it sort of crystallizes and freezes in your hand.
Right.
Have you seen this?
I have, but not with water.
Oh, what have you seen of it?
I can't remember what the fluid was called. No, there was some special fluid they were using.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what it does. It does something, and when it's perfectly still, it doesn't do anything. But as
Yeah.
soon as you
Disturb it.
move it, as soon as you disturb it, it will instantly crystallizes.
Yeah. So you can do it with bottles of water, but yeah, to someone really uninitiated, they could see that as magic. Oh my god, you've frozen a bottle of water from your hand, technically. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would.
Well, that's it. I mean, you no longer believe magic because we're at the point now where everything has a scientific explanation.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's still magic.
But to somebody else.
Well, no, even if they're, back then, what was considered magic, has a scientific explanation.
Yeah.
And therefore, magic must have a scientific explanation. So therefore, magic is real. It doesn't mean, you can then explain magic by science.
Yeah. Okay.
So is it magic anymore? Well, if it was magic, it doesn't become not magic because you now understand it.
Okay. Just, I guess the definition of the word has changed then to someone that understands what's going on.
No, magic is simply something miraculous that you can't understand.
Yeah. Okay, I guess so.
Except God. I've seen no miracles.
We were talking about the Sphinx a minute ago.
I know. But we're done with that now. Next one's another Christ, another religious one.
Oh.
It's very short.
Okay.
I just like I looked at it and I think, why is this even considered a fringe theory?
Really?
So these are actually fringe theories, not conspiracy theories.
Okay.
But there's a lot of conspiracy theories that come under fringe theories.
I love that program, Fringe. It's great.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you not? Oh man, you need to watch it. Fringe. It's basically
sounds like Outer Limits to me.
It's more like kind of X-Files mixed in with what was that program?
The Outer Limits.
A little bit. No, it wasn't real. It was like a series, and it just basically it was like on these kind of programs that would deal with theories, like interdimensional stuff and all that sort of stuff. It was really good.
Have you ever watched The Outer Limits?
Yes.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, but they're done as a documentary almost, like a mockumentary type. No, what was it called? What's the word that's like yeah, I guess it is mockumentary, but no, this was a TV series.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So was The Outer Limits was a completely made up TV series.
Well, technically they're all made up, aren't they? But yeah.
No, documentaries aren't all made up. They're just filming real things.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is the Christ myth theory,
right?
And it's called, I don't know why it's called a theory. To me, it's not a theory. Christ myth theory. So basically, it's just saying that the story of Christ is just that. It's a story.
Yeah.
It's a myth and has no substantial claims to historical fact. In other words, none of it actually happened. It's just a story.
I mean, that's a more plausible idea, isn't it, really?
Well, it's called a theory, but we're saying because you can't prove it didn't happen. But
it didn't happen either.
I know, yeah. Someone could say anything happened, and then if you say it didn't happen, that's just a theory that it didn't happen. But yeah, so I don't think it belongs on there. That's more down to your preference. I would say beliefs, but again, I'm back to religion and why it's a disbelief as opposed to a belief.
Yeah. It makes, as I said, it makes a great story.
Are you religious at all?
Why would you ask me that?
What?
Why would you ask me that?
Well, I don't think you are.
Interesting.
But I worked with somebody for about 8 years.
This is not me. We've been
it wasn't you. And I didn't know he was religious at all.
Really?
Not in the slightest. I was down the pub one day with him.
Yeah.
And
you blurted out, "God's not real."
I can't remember what we were talking about. But then he said that he believed. I think we were just talking about normal. I can't believe anybody actually believes this tripe. And he was like, "Oh, I believe." I'm like, "What? Like, believe everything, like the whole Bible?" And he's like, "Yes." No, bear in mind he was an engineer.
Mm.
So he's an engineer, and I struggle how anyone that's an engineer that we work with physics and stuff like that, how they can believe in the Bible. No, so word for word, sort of Bible belief.
Yeah.
So you believe that they buried one of Adam's ribs and Eve grew? He's like, yes.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, why?
So the whole garden thing, and Eve picked an apple, not a metaphorical apple or anything like that. She actually picked this apple. And
but with the ribs thing, why are people not ripping out other people's ribs to grow babies then, if that's the case?
Because they're not God.
Yeah, but
God did it.
Yeah, but surely he had the design sorted out. I mean, to be honest, if he was, this is the other thing as well. If he was all omnipotent, all knowing, all intelligent, creating the earth and all that sort of stuff, why did he create a man first? Why not a woman that can carry a baby?
Here's the other thing that gets me with religion, right?
Just going to answer that question.
I don't think it needs answering.
Yeah,
I can't. You had to create one of them first. Neither of them can have a baby on their own, so one of them had to come first, and he created Adam first.
Yes, but a woman...
He didn't create anyone. It's not real.
A woman can biologically carry a child, so surely it would have been easier to create a woman and then get her pregnant, and then have the natural life cycle happen, instead of ripping out a rib of a bloke.
But I was going to get her pregnant, because you need a man to get her pregnant. Well, you don't, because that's how Jesus was born, wasn't it? Don't get me started on that story.
No, that's not how... No.
She was no virgin, I'm telling you that right now. If she was, she wouldn't have got pregnant.
Oh, man. Actually, there's evidence that you can still get pregnant without breaking the...
Get in a syringe and squirt it up there.
Oh, my... Wow.
Let's not go there. Anyway, that's not what
You just did it.
What gets me with religion, right, is that I don't know if it's all religions, but I'm talking about the Christian sort of Bible.
Uh-huh.
They just rewrite it when it doesn't, when they don't like something anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just do another version. We'll change this, and then that would, because I can't see how you could ever have a feminist that's a Christian.
Why? How so?
Because women were made to serve men.
According to the Bible.
I think so. I can't say I've ever read the Bible, but I'm pretty sure that's what it says. Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
They were there to keep the home, and the men were there to be the providers.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how you could have a Christian feminist.
You probably can't. Well, you probably can. They'll just ignore it, don't they?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everyone just twists the Bible to fit what they want.
Well, yeah.
And then when they say, "Yeah, no, that's metaphorical," or it only applies in this circumstance, or only applies in that circumstance, or no, that's not what it meant. That was a bad translation in history, so we've done it again now, and it's right now. And
here's the thing: it's open because there's such a volume of text. Everyone interprets it differently. They interpret different bits of it differently, and that's why you get, when you ask someone, if you were to ask people about a specific point in the Bible, if you ask lots of different people, you'd get different answers.
Well, I can tell you how they justify it. Actually, I just thought about it. It's pretty simple.
You just thought about it.
It's very. I've heard this argument actually. What was it? I saw it. Someone saying they were a thief, stealing loads of stuff, doing burglaries and stuff, and they claim to be a devout Christian.
Right.
And they're like, well, you can't be, thou shalt not steal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, but Jesus died on the cross for all of our sins.
Right.
So basically, you're forgiven your sins if you confess them.
Yeah.
So you can sin as much as you like.
Yeah. I hear this.
No problem at all, because your sins are forgiven.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Which kind of, to me, would defeat the entire object of the Bible.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier just to acknowledge the fact it doesn't exist. It's a story.
Well, they had to have it somewhere, didn't they? Because let's face it, who's going to get through life without sinning in one form or another?
I mean, to be honest, that sort of thing, the whole concept of it, fits in with the times that it was written. That's the sort of thing that people, had to, I guess, believe or to become part of society. It was made for control.
It was absolutely made for control. That's my understanding as well. Purely for control. What else could it be for? Do as I say, or you'll go to hell.
Yeah. And then back in those days, they believed it was real. They had nothing to kind of back up otherwise, if that makes sense. So, basically...
This is what happens when you follow ideas without evidence.
Yeah. But the church was in control of a lot of the stuff, so if you didn't do...
But how did the church come to power?
I have no idea. But if you didn't do this stuff, you would definitely... They would...
See, I believe it was all just a con. It was a con. It was a cult that took off.
The thing is, that's been happening for thousands of years prior to that as well. You had the Egyptians that believed in sun gods and stuff. If they didn't do something, they would be struck down and all that sort of... I know it's more of a widely believed thing.
Yeah, no, but the further back you go, you can understand how someone can think up a god of lightning. Let's say Zeus.
Yeah.
Lightning strikes happen. They need to find a way to explain that. They haven't got the modern science, so they say, yeah, well, there's someone up there that chucks lightning bolts down at you.
Yeah.
They've got no better way of understanding it.
No.
I just noticed there's a worm on the floor wiggling around down there.
Oh, lovely.
I don't know where it come from.
That was way outside. So.
Yeah, under the garage door probably. Anyway, so yeah, they've no way of understanding these things, and this is how the religions get started. People wanting to understand something.
Yeah,
that's what I believe.
And lacking the mental capacity to be able to explain it.
It's not really the mental capacity; it's the technical knowledge to be able to explain it. You can't blame somebody, from 5,000 years ago for not understanding how lightning's formed.
Of course, yeah.
But once you know how lightning's formed, do you still believe there's a guy sat up in the clouds throwing lightning bolts at people?
Probably not.
No. But this goes back to the same argument as flat earthers.
Yeah, exactly.
That we were talking about earlier.
If you've believed it for so long, it's really hard to change your opinion. That's the problem.
No.
It is.
No, give me the facts. And if they're there to support an opinion change, I'll change my opinion.
Okay. That's you. It's not a lot of other people.
I can't call everyone religious the same as I called the flat earthers, can I?
No. So, yeah. It is what it is.
I don't understand religion. I'm never going to understand religion.
No.
Other than it's something to put in place to control people. And
it's a great video game, though.
Yeah. Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome game.
Or a great story, actually. That's why I love Supernatural.
Yeah, stories, stuff like that. I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah.
And for the times they were written, I'm pretty sure they were pretty compelling.
Yeah. And
I would have considered them a good work of fiction.
Yeah. But like Supernatural, the series. Love that. Great.
Yeah, but that's not really the best written program.
Whoa!
It's a great program, but it's got quite a lot of
inaccuracies towards the Bible. You mean?
No, I'm not talking about the Bible with regards to Supernatural. I'm talking about the scripting in it and the acting and everything else.
Wow.
I love the program. But it's kind of niche in that no one's going to say that program is a work of art.
Really?
Yeah, no, not at all.
You've just been cancelled. You've just been cancelled.
Well, I'm a fan of the program. It's like Star Trek, right?
Love Star Trek.
Yeah, you take the first one, the original Star Trek series.
Star Trek, the motion picture. Oh, the series, right?
Yeah, the series.
Yeah.
It's atrocious.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Absolutely atrocious.
Yeah. But people love it.
But you love it because it's Star. I was going to say Star Wars, Star Trek.
They've definitely been cancelled.
No, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So what do we think? That was the end of the conspiracy theories I had written down.
Yeah.
You got any you want to
Um,
add? Fringe theories. Like we're saying conspiracy theories, but fringe theories are slightly different in that they're often theories that not necessarily been disproven, and they may have merit to them. Now, some of them don't, like flat Earth. But I say the ancient civilization, the Graham Hancock program, go and watch it, and I think you'll find there is some evidence there to support it. Now, I'm not saying I believe that's what happened.
Yeah.
But I won't close my mind off to it.
Yeah.
Because there's something there, and as I said to you already, show me the evidence, and if I think it's worth changing my opinion, I'll change my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any myself, I don't think. Well, none that are worth talking about anyway, I don't think. No, I'm good.
Okay, well, I can't see how long the episode is because you made us break.
1 hour and 7 minutes.
Okay. Well, that's it then.
Yeah. Thank you
We'll
very much.
catch you in the next one.
See you next time.
All right for now.